Okay, and broadcasting now. Hello and welcome to everybody who's joined us so far. We'll be getting started in just a moment's time. Excellent, we'll get started. Well, hello and welcome to the BSB51415 Diploma of Project Management Student Information Session. So tonight's all about answering all of your questions, well, hopefully answering all of your questions about Metro Education's Diploma of Project Management. We intend on giving you some insight into the course, what's involved, what online learning might look like, some of the jobs that are available in the project management space, what the industry looks like as a whole, and of course, any other questions that you may have. If you do have any questions throughout, please feel free to contact me directly via the chat function. And what I can do is put your questions to our panelists. And there'll also be an opportunity to ask some questions at the end if we don't manage to answer everything that comes to mind. Joining us today, we have Danielle O'Neill and Iona McKimmie. Danielle and Iona, welcome.
Thanks, James. Hi, everyone.
Thanks, James. Great to be here.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, first and foremost, let's have a bit of a look at the course itself and a bit of an overview as to what it's about, what it's aimed to do and who it might be applicable for. Iona, I'm going to hand on over to you to talk to us a little bit about this.
Okay, so Mentor Education's Diploma of Project Management has been developed to support people to develop the skill and knowledge to work as project managers in a variety of contexts. So people may or may not be in employment at the moment, but they may be wanting to work as a project manager in education, in a specific business. It's fair to say that every business has projects of some description that they initiate and complete across the life cycle of the business. And the course itself is structured so it provides an overview, as it says here, of the fundamental project management principles, the resource management, managing project teams, developing projects, in particular a range of project methodologies, and actually putting those methodologies into place. So the course itself covers a number of areas of project management, which is project scope, quality, time, human resources, team building and team training. It drills down very deeply into actually project scheduling and creating things like work breakdown structures to ensure that all of the tasks in a project are completed. And it also draws a lot on continuous improvement and quality management as far as projects are concerned. And as I mentioned before, really building project teams and getting projects happening. And to do that, the course itself focuses on both lean and agile project management methodologies. And we introduce a number of other methodologies as well during the course. So students can actually move from one industry to another and work in different contexts as project managers as well.
Excellent. Look, Iona, one thing that I certainly noticed there with respect to the course overview is a real emphasis on teamwork, human capital, human resources, things like that. I mean, how much emphasis is put towards that with respect to project management and perhaps even the soft skills that we see coming up time and time again as skills and knowledge areas that are in demand from employers?
Oh, very much so. Those interpersonal skills and those team building skills and being able to manage different types of teams, because across the lifetime of any project, we come across different types of teams. So we may have teams of tradesmen, for example. We may have teams that are our technical consultation team. We'll have a range of stakeholders involved in our project. We also need to be able to consult internally in an organisation as a project manager to effectively develop a project and resource a project. So those interpersonal skills are incredibly important. Projects can be quite complex or can be quite simple. But the things that we need to achieve as part of a project from start end to end are relatively similar. And people, of course, because without people, we're not able to actually build the capacity of our project team, and that project team's capacity and capability are incredibly important. That links in, of course, with our own capability and our own capacity as project managers. And it is something that we actually focus on in the course, is our development as individuals, as project managers. It sounds very simple to manage a project, but yes, thank you. You've just put the course outline up for me, but there's a whole range of different aspects of project management that we look at. And so we look at the actual scope, and part of scoping a project is also about doing things like a feasibility to find out if this thing can be done or not. There's no point building an 85-story building if we can't get the permit to actually lay the foundation in the first place. So that's one of the reasons why we do feasibility studies, and we develop business cases, and then we write the project scope, for example. Time is about project scheduling and about project time management and how long it takes, working out how long it takes to complete a stage of a project. And actually putting that into play and creating work breakdown structures, and then in turn managing our project schedule. And there's a number of different types of scheduling we can do, and it depends on our project management methodologies. So because we look at a range of different project methodologies in this course, we're able to support students to develop the ability to, even if you like, matrix those project management methodologies so projects actually happen efficiently and effectively and have good outcomes. Continuous improvement is incredibly important in project management. We need to be constantly reviewing, and we need to look at our change management processes and how we actually put those things into place. So there's a whole range of things throughout the course that we actually look at. And we like to speak about the course as an end-to-end project process. So if you like, we start off with ourselves. We develop ourselves, develop project teams and how to establish a project office. And then we move into actually managing a specific project. So if you like, we look at the project management process as an end-to-end process in the course itself. So from that very moment that somebody says, let's do a project, through to, hey, we finished the project and we've completed all the deliverables and it's all done in the closeout phase of the project.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, one thing that you've talked about, Iona, is the application to construction, but I think the project management skill set and certainly the units that are covered here and the skills and knowledge components can extend to a variety of industries, whether it be IT, construction, retail, whatever it may be. And, I mean, has the course been designed in such a way that it is applicable across a number of areas like that?
So the course is exactly as you suggest. It's applicable to a number of different areas. We must remember, though, that in areas like civil construction or construction itself, there is very specific project documentation and very specific project methodologies that we would use. There's also other processes that we might use, for example, in a very formal environment where we would undertake to issue tender documents and things like that. And so the course itself doesn't actually include that issuance of tender documents or estimation. We focus on project management, and actually a specific process or project management process. The course draws a lot on the project management book of knowledge, and it embeds excuse me, the different parts of the project management book of knowledge. So we can't say that it is specific to any industry, but it does actually support people in businesses, in in different roles in different industries, but we would need to be very open that it doesn't include that project specific documentation for construction or for civil engineering.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now, Danielle, I'm going to hand on over to you to talk to us a little bit about, I suppose, the industry overview with respect to project management and some of the feedback that you've been getting from candidates coming in, some of the applications of this course that they've been applying to roles that they're currently in. And then, Iona, again, if I can get you to jump in, I mean, I understand you've done quite a number of years actually in the project management space yourself and provide a little bit of, I think, of insight into what day-to-day might look like as well. So, Danielle, handing on over to you first, talk to us a little bit about, I suppose, the job outlook, the job growth, the sort of things that we're seeing out there in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely, James. So as we mentioned, this course can be applied into so many different industries and therefore different roles. Project manager is obviously the standout role when it comes to doing this course, but it can be for upskilling for other roles as well and to gain more of an understanding of what that project management role is all about. So it does say there, you're responsible for things like the planning and organising of projects, which, as we saw in the units, is quite in depth and there's quite a lot of steps to doing so. So it's something that you really do need that training in. The support services as well, so managing the other arms of projects that go on as well, all the contracts, which of course is very important to make sure that everything's done correctly, and of course the teams of people, which leads back into this course focus of having that person-to-person and interpersonal skills that come along with the course. The job outlook is very positive as far as this area is concerned. So the expected growth is 6.2% over the next 5 years, which is a really positive outlook. So it's definitely an industry that people are looking at getting into, which is why studying now and getting into the industry within that 5 years is such a great idea. The average salary of 130K per annum too is certainly a very impressive salary for someone studying the diploma, and the most common being that 65 to 70. So it is really a great career to get into. It's something that you can step into with the diploma without committing years to degrees. So that's why we see a lot of students that want to start out with our diploma and step into that industry and into that space. And of course, the job satisfaction there, 4.3 out of 5, which is quite high across industries as well. So there's certainly a lot of really positive reasons why people would want to get into this industry, that's for sure.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Danielle. And Iona, now you spent some time, quite some time as a project manager. What does life look like as a project manager on a day-to-day basis?
I would have to say it is one of the most varied, challenging and satisfying jobs that anybody could possibly do. So as a project manager, we're presented with a concept to actually put in place, develop. We're responsible for developing the different teams, the scope of the project, creating the schedule for the project so the project actually happens. And then we're responsible for things like regular reviews. But to do all of that, we need to communicate constantly with different people at different stages of a project. So if I'll use the comparison of building a house. So at each different stage of building a house, we use different people with different skills. So if we consider a house to be a mini project, so we've got the guys that come in and they create the foundation for the house, and then somebody else comes in and pours the concrete over the top, and then the bricklayers come in and they put the bricks up. And these are all different teams of different people. And that's what happens across a project. So throughout the lifetime of the project, we come across we work with many different teams. We work with industry specialists and experts, and we, as the project manager, are responsible for the actual scoping of the project, often the feasibility study as well, depending on the size of the organisation. Taking a concept, building that concept into something real, and then having that concept actually happen in a very positive way. We're also responsible for communication throughout the project. So we're communicating with our teams, whether they be internal and external. We're communicating with our stakeholders. We're managing change throughout the project, because we might need to substitute things or change timelines or things like that. So it is a very rewarding role to work in. No matter which industry you work in. And my background is in engineering. So having worked on a couple of very, very large projects, as well as quite a few very, very small ones, each project, as you take it through to completion, is always very rewarding. So, and it's fair to say that in a professional sense, we build a professional network of people who we often work with across a range of projects over our career as a project manager. So there is a lot of great things about working as a project manager.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, as far as bringing the skills and knowledge component of this course to life, I mean, the learning material plays a large role in that. Of course, it's available online, and up here in front of us, we have a range of, I suppose, forums and mediums by way by which the learning material is brought to us. Again, in addition, I suppose, to the learning material itself, it's very closely aligned to real workplace outcomes and designed in such a way that when you are acquiring those skills and knowledge and working through the learning material, you're walking away with something that you can literally apply that day to what it is that you might be doing at work. Talk to us a little bit more about the learning material, Iona, and I suppose how that works, especially with that, I suppose, an emphasis on that real world application.
Happily, James. One of the great things about this course is that the course is actually structured and the learning materials are embedded throughout the course in such a way that it takes us through a project management process. So in addition to the three textbooks that are three complete textbooks that are provided in the course, there's also additional audio lectures. We also hold live tutorials every week for students in the course. So they actually speak to myself and another trainer who work with the project management cohort throughout their course. So there is the security of knowing that the person who is talking to you every Thursday afternoon is the same person who answers your questions, and so on and so forth. And we tend to find a lot of people enjoy that type of relationship with their tutors and their lecturers. So, and we are always available and we are always live. We're not pre-recorded. So students are actually able to work with us in real time. So to get back to the learning materials as well, one of the things that we do throughout the course is we actually work with a project, and students at the beginning of the course actually choose a project that they're going to work with, and then all of the project documentation that's developed relates to that specific project. So a student gets to experience, rather than fractured learning activities, a continuous range of activities that are in line with the same process that you would go through in a workplace if you were working as a project manager or leading a project. So we tend to find that end-to-end process, not only in the course but in line with a real project and doing a real project, assists students to be able to leave when they've completed the course, to be able to actually go out into the workplace. They have prepared the documents already that they're going to be preparing in the workplace. So if you like, I suppose it's a bit of a canned term, but if you like, students actually enter the workplace as work ready and able to complete project documentation and be aware of all of the different aspects of project management. So additional instructional video is provided as well. Excuse me. And throughout the course, the students experience self-directed learning activities to actually increase their knowledge base, and may provide the opportunity for deep learning of many aspects of project management.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, I suppose the emphasis, or I suppose the value that students are getting out of the virtual classrooms and the online live tutorials really can't be understated. And I think it's probably a good point to let everybody know tonight. We've actually got a number of spaces available in our online virtual tutorials that we're making available for specialised enrolment fees for people who've tuned into tonight's webinar. So we'll make that information available towards the end. By that stage, you'll have a really good understanding as to what the course involves and, of course, some of the benefits of it. But yeah, if you are looking at taking on the Diploma of Project Management, cannot overstate how valuable the live tutorials and classroom is. And yeah, I suppose as a way of saying thanks for tuning in tonight. We've got a couple of spots available for some, I suppose, a special enrolment fee tonight. So certainly stay tuned for that. Danielle, talk to us a little bit about the online learning experience. What are some of the things that I need to get in touch with the course? What does the LMS or learning management system look like? And I suppose what are some of the benefits that afford students?
Absolutely. The learning management system itself is extremely user-friendly. It's essentially just a website that you log into. So it can be logged into from any device. Some people like to start in the office, finish at home. That's perfectly fine. When you log into that system, everything you need is there for you. You don't need to log out. You don't need to go to another browser. If you need to visit a website, it's going to hyperlink you. Click it and it takes you where you need to go and brings you back to the learning management system. So you don't need anything fancy. You do need a device of some description, whether that be a laptop or a desktop. Reading material can actually even be done on your phone. So you can do that while you're sitting on the couch having a read and then jump up to your laptop and do your assessment. So it's really quite flexible, but it's really user-friendly. You can see on the screen there in front of us as well, it's got the Let's Get Started module. So it's going to talk you through everything you need there, as well as the Getting Started with Brightspace. So it's got everything you need to sort of walk through the system, get a feel for it. It really is just a matter of following the prompts that are laid out in front of you. Of course, if there's any questions or concerns, you've got an email student support button there, or you can pick up the phone and give us a call. You don't need any fancy software or anything at all, just a decent internet connection and a device to study on. So it really is that simple. You can access it any time of the day, day or night, any weekend, whenever study suits you. You log on, do a little bit. You can save where you're at and stop. So if you're juggling a family and everything else going on and you need to stop, you just save, exit where you are and come right back to it. So it's all very friendly.
Excellent. Now I'm going to jump the gun a little bit here because a question which we're often asked at question time is all the resources and textbooks and everything like that I require included, I suppose, as part of the online learning experience and with the materials?
It is, yeah. So it really is hosting everything you need in that system. So it's, really easily laid out for you. You can find it all super simply and everything you need is there. You don't need to jump onto any external websites or be downloading anything else or going elsewhere. It's all there for you.
Okay, great. Now, depending on where you are in the country, of course, you might find yourself commuting to work again, sort of no longer working from home as has been the case for quite a lot of this year. I mean, how easy is it for me to perhaps do reading on the train or on the bus or whatever it may be?
Yeah, super simple. So the reading material, the website itself or the learning management system is mobile compatible. So you just log in as you would from your laptop or anywhere else. You log in on your mobile, reading's all there for you. You can certainly, look at doing your reading material on your way home. When you get home, it's fresh in your mind, jump on and do that assessment. Or, you don't have to do it that way, but that's the way I used to do mine. But yeah, it's really easy just to log in and do your reading on your phone or a tablet as well. Tablet's a bit easier to read. But it's super simple to do. You just use your same old login and email address and password for your login details.
Excellent. Okay. Now, what's always of, I suppose, super interest for students and potential students is what assessment is going to look like. Is it going to be exams? Is it going to be assignments? What's it going to be? What sort of, what do I have to put myself through to get this qualification? And I think the best person to answer that is Iona. Now, we've got quite a list up there in front of us. Take us through it.
Thanks, James. I have to say, every time I see this slide, it really scares me because I look at it and I go, oh no, do I have to do all of that in one assessment? The answer is no. Most assessments in the Diploma of Project Management are comprised of short answer questions, project presentations, a research task, but we don't have any role plays in the course. So, and commonly in an assessment, you would maybe complete 3 to 4 assessment tasks that are easily achievable and you would also be completing some project documentation. So you might develop your project scope. You might create your work breakdown structure as part of your projects. So all of your projects are directly related to your unit of study, and they're also directly related to project management. So, for example, in the personal development and personal and professional development unit, what we're really doing is we're creating a professional development plan for ourselves as project managers. So, and that is presented to you as part of a project in an assessment. So basically, in most assessments, there are 2 or 3 different types of assessment tasks, and they would be made up of short or long answer questions. Different project tasks, so you might create a flow chart, you might write a policy, you might do some project documentation, but you would only ever do 2 of those things. You might create a presentation as well, or alternately. So no, not all of those things are in every assessment, but usually you would find that there would be 2, 3, or 4 of those things in an assessment task.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, Danielle, talk to us a little bit about the duration of the course. I mean, what options are available to students with respect to, I suppose, flexibility of timelines, and then support, of course, that's available to obviously, you know, onboard those learning outcomes, and, you know, should anybody require assistance, what options do they have?
Absolutely. So starting out with the duration, you can see there it's up to 12 months. Students can work through the learning material as quickly or slowly as they wish. So some people ask me, you know, if I finish everything, do I get my qualification or do I wait the 12 months? Like, as soon as you finish everything off, you've got it all marked and you're all done, that's when you get your qualification. Up to a 12-month period. I find most students take about 10 months, finish it off a little bit sooner than that. The total duration is estimated at 810 hours, which is slightly different for everyone because we all do learn at a different pace and absorb information differently. But yeah, it is quite flexible in the way that you can work through it entirely in your own time. The support that we offer is quite comprehensive. It's your normal Monday to Friday 9 to 5. Pick up the phone and give us a call, send through an email. You see in your learning management system, you've got the email support button there. So it's as simple as clicking that and getting in touch. They'll be able to pass you through to a trainer if need be, or the support team can help out with the system as well. So it's really just a matter of, if you are stuck, don't sit and dwell on it, get in touch because we're here to help. Of course, as well, the tutorials, as we've mentioned, and we'll keep mentioning, they're on every Thursday afternoon, are just so valuable as well. Some people will choose to email their trainer, here's my questions when we get to the tutorial, can we talk about this? Because then you can have more of a conversation as well. So there's certainly an abundance of support there for students working through the course.
Excellent. Now, we get I suppose, a myriad of questions coming from students. So what we've done is taken the liberty of putting some frequently asked ones up there in front of us. Danielle, if you could talk to us about some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. I can talk to you about all of those. I'm asked regularly, can I get government funding? In a short answer, no, we aren't part of any government funding programs. Students have come to us and have arranged funding that we're happy to support in that regard. But generally, if you have a look at our pricing, it's really quite competitive. We've got some great discounts running as well, which leads into the next question. We do have payment plans available. So there's a few different options there. So if you look at the website and you've got any questions, just get in touch with myself and the education advice team to have a chat about the different payment options for sure.
Okay, great. Start straight away?
Pretty much, yeah. So before 4 o'clock on any business day, we'll get it up and running that day for you, or the next day. From there is where everything is provided for you and you can go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. Now, we've talked a little bit about the different study options. We've got our self-directed and the tutorials. So we've dived quite heavily into that. Is it nationally recognised?
Certainly is, yes. The best way to identify that is through the course code. You see some, if it's just simply called a course in project management, it's probably not, but we are, of course, offering the BSB51415. Okay,
great. Prerequisites?
It's an open entry course, so there are no formal prerequisites with education needed to enter. So anyone can really jump in and get started on this course, which is great.
Okay, great. I think we've well and truly covered off how long do people take to finish. Now, we did bring it up earlier. Now, we've made a couple of spots available in our virtual tutorial and virtual classroom cohort. Now, what are we making that available to students for who've tuned into the webinar?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll see online the retail price is $2,895 for our tutorial option. We're actually offering it this week for anyone that attends tonight for $1,100 in total. So certainly a really good opportunity and a bit of a thank you for those that have attended. So just mentioned to the education advice team that you were listening to Danielle, James and Iona in the webinar, and we'll be able to make that available for you.
Now that's available between now and close of business Friday. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, well, look, certainly if you are interested in doing it, now's certainly the time to take advantage of that. Now, we've had a question just come in with respect to pathway options. What would be the next step after the Diploma of Project Management? Iona, I'll hand on over to you. What do you think would be the most appropriate pathway for students from this point?
Well, James, I have to say that our advanced Diploma of Business is an ideal pathway for students that have completed the Diploma of Project Management. The Advanced Diploma of Business builds on a number of aspects of the Diploma of Project Management, including business planning, strategic planning, and human resource management as well. For people that are wanting to specifically work in project management and human resources for project management, so human capital management, students could or are able to continue their studies in the Advanced Diploma of Management in Human Resources as well. Excuse me, for those students that may have more than 5 years work experience and that are interested in or are currently working in the IT industry or an associated industry that has an IT focus. We also offer a pathway option into the Graduate Certificate of IT and Strategic Management. So there's a number of different pathways there for students, and Danielle and her team are more than happy to work with any student to actually develop a pathway options on entry to the course or on completion of the course.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Well, look, that brings us to the end of tonight's student information session. Danielle, if anybody out there had any more questions, certainly with regards to the Diploma of Project Management or any of the other courses that we offer, whether it be from our School of Business, Accounting, IT, or as we're doing tonight, Project Management, where would they go and what would be the best way to get that information?
Yeah, absolutely, James. So the best way, in my opinion, is pick up the phone and give us a call. That's 1300 306 146 if you're quick enough to write that down. Jump on mentor.edu.au as well. You've got all our contact details on there. You can actually open up an online web chat as well, so you can reach out to us that way. Whatever works for you, welcome to get in touch, but it is 1300 306 146.
Excellent. Now, before we go, Iona, I'm going to put it over to you for some closing statements because I know project management is something that you're deeply passionate about. Is there any parting words you'd like to leave with our potential students out there?
Well, as a member of the Australian Institute of Project Management, as well as an educator in this course and a tutor in this course, I encourage anybody to consider studying project management. It provides us with such an opportunity to be able to do a range of things in our workplaces and our businesses, but it also provides us with a range of opportunities as far as our career options are concerned. And having worked in project management roles off and on, and now in the role that I work in with mentor education, that project management experience and the ability to work with projects and the different range of people and lots of different types of projects is an amazing gift going forward. So to increase your employment opportunities, to increase your knowledge, to actually work in different roles, in different contexts, in different organisations, a Diploma of Project Management will take you there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Iona. Thank you, Danielle. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. As always, any more questions, head on over to mentor.edu.au. And we look forward to seeing you all as students very soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night, James. Good night, Danielle.
Bye.